Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Tonight's film is 1970's Dandy. This is it, Dandy. The tagline on the front says, "The love animal that turns you on." At the bottom it says, "Because Dandy couldn't stop with just a goodnight kiss, this film must be rated X." This is put out by Code Red. This is the back here, and this is put out by Code Red Distribution, DVD releasing. And as you know, Code Red, they put out very limited edition titles. These DVDs and Blu-rays that Code Red puts out, if you want them, get them quickly because they will go out of print very quickly, and people will resell them for very high amounts of money. 1970's Dandy. This is a film that chronicles in true 70s, really early 70s, true 70s sexploitation, fascinating cultural, sociological fashion, the life of an 18-year-old runaway named Dandy, and all of the adventures, the ins, the outs, the people that she meets, the people that she does business with, all throughout the film. This is an adventure film of sorts. This is a sexploitation journey, days in the life of our lead character, Dandy. This is a film that is really very intriguing, with just the different characters that Dandy meets along the way. And yes, you have this young innocent, which tends to be a common theme in the sexploitation genre, especially 60s, 70s. But we have some things in here that you don't typically see. We have a character that doesn't give herself uninhibitedly to anything, to total destruction, which tends to be a common darker sexploitation theme in the genre, especially for the 70s. This is a character that has some discernment, but also gives herself away when she sees fit, which brings some complexity to her character and some complexity to the film, as she makes her own decisions on right and wrong and avoids total destruction, but allows herself some freedom along the way as well. This is a really, really just an intriguing, awesome sexploitation, exploitation, erotic type of film, Dandy. We start off with the music in this film. The music is really, really great stuff. We are dealing with some kind of late 60s, 70s jazzy types of music here, jazzy rock, upbeat types of music. A little bit of sultriness, a little bit of sleaze in the mix with the music. And some of the most intriguing pieces of music in this film are the electric guitar noodling that almost reminds me of the freedom of the Grateful Dead music, and the psychedelic emotional relaxation, if you catch my drift, of the Grateful Dead and bands of that ilk. And then you have some pieces of music in this film that are discordant, a little bit unnerving, bordering on dark, but never quite getting there, and interesting and uneasy for those particular areas of the film that will kind of delve into that. We have great cinematography in this film. I mean, obviously, this was probably a low-budget film, and the cinematography in this film, I thought, was very interesting. It's cut very quickly at times. There are some very interesting montages in this film, some very beautiful shots in this film. Obviously, we are definitely, oogling the lead character, Dandy, and her body and her life and her face and her breasts, in particular her breasts, and but her whole body. And The editing in particular is very interesting. We get some very weird summary montages throughout the film, almost flashback sequences. We have very quick cuts in this film, and predominantly with sexual things, which almost makes you think that there were things cut. But this is the cut here, and they say this film is rated X even on the back of the DVD. And I got to tell you, I mean, this is not you're not really seeing any explicit sex in this film whatsoever. You're not seeing any penetration. You're not even seeing any male genitalia at all. No penises, no hard-ons from the men, no boners, nothing like that. No bodily fluids, nothing like that. But you are seeing full frontal and back of women. And a little bit, close-ups down below, but nothing internal, if you catch my drift. It's in the sexual scenes and the tones of the scenes, though, that really kind of make it a harder R, or definitely higher than an R, maybe NC-17. But this is, by no means would be considered an X maybe today in 2016, but definitely this would by no means be considered an R. Definitely probably NC-17 territory for something like this, but I really felt the tones of the sex scenes was what really kind of made it feel like an X-rated film. It was the tone, it was the style, it was the feeling, it was the eroticism, it was the freedom and exhibition and inhibitions, lack of inhibitions of the sexual scenes. I really felt that there was an erotic nature to the sexual scenes in this film. In particular, a lesbian scene near the end of the film that really kind of brought the vibes to a higher erotic level in this erotic sexploitation film. This is a film that is very interesting because this is a film of characters. Of course, you're starting off with Dandy, and you're not just starting with Dandy. This film is Dandy. I mean, you are spending time with this runaway teen, but it's all the characters she meets along the way. This is a film of characters. This is a film of an adventure of characters, from swingers to photographers, to a boss, to a lover, and it's just this unbelievable mix. And as you meet each character, you go into their apartment, you go into their home, you go into their pool, you go into their world, into each different section of Hollywood, California, early 70s. And as I said before, there is complexity in this film. There is very interesting dynamics in this film because Dandy never completely goes off the deep end. Never. Never. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of mystery with her. Even as she enjoys sex with multiple people in this film, you're wondering her discernment, why she says no sometimes and why she says yes other times. There's some very interesting things in here with the complexity of Dandy, but the complexity of many characters in this film. And I will say something else: the acting in this low-budget sexploitation unknown film is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. If this is a film of characters, then you would want those characters to be acting their roles appropriately, and they definitely do. One of my favorite sections of this film is this swinging couple, as Dandy meets them. And there is, just like you would get in the sexploitation genre, especially in the 70s, you have moral ambiguity, you have sexual freedom, you have free love, you have all of these different roles, but there is a level of complex moral discernment running throughout the film, as well as we are taking the journey with Dandy. This is Dandy, folks. This is 1970s Dandy. Great cover art here. This is put out by Code Red DVD, and if you like what you heard here, this is a film for you. Really, really something great. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite male characters, John Alderman, is in this film, and he was in a film that I previously reviewed on this YouTube page. So you want to check that out. I believe it was called Sweet Innocence. I'm blanking right now, but I something with innocence. This is how professional I am, but it's on this YouTube page. So this is the movie right here, folks, and I got to tell you, this is definitely something special. There's some very bizarre characters in this film as well. In particular, a gentleman who likes women to be clean. A very weird, dark sequence, but interesting. And like I said, this is a film of characters, and I don't believe you get acting of this ilk in films of this nature. This is a complex film, and thought it was awesome. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Please feel free to check out all my other reviews in this YouTube page, and please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you, and good night.